everyone, how are you? I hope you all are fine. So in this video we will discuss about what civil disobedience. Okay. So in the previous video we had already discussed about the previous section, that is uh, standing within a movement. Okay. Differing stands within the movement. Okay. So in this video we will discuss about the third part, that is the towards the civil disobedience. Okay, so in February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so the movement was non-cooperation movement. The Mahatma Gandhi thought in the February 1922 that to withdraw this movement because of the because he thought that this movement become much more violent. Okay, so that's why he withdraw the movement non-cooperation. Okay, non-cooperation movement. He felt the movement was turning violent in many places and satyagrahis needed to be properly trained before the would be ready for the mass struggles. It means before the mass struggles, the satyagrahis should be trained. Okay, because otherwise if they were not trained, due to untrained people, the previous movement, that is the civil non-cooperation movement, okay, this movement become more violent. Okay, within the Congress some leaders were now tired of mass struggles and wanted to participate in election to the provincial council that had set up by the Government of India Act of 1919. It means that within the Congress, some leaders in the Congress there are some leaders that they were now tried for the they are tried for the now, but in the previous section we have seen that they were not interested in this, but now they were within the Congress, some leaders were not tired of mass struggles and they also participate in election to provincial council that were have been set by a government, okay, of India, Act of 1919. They felt that it was important to oppose British policies within the councils, argue for reform and also demonstrate that these councils were not truly democratic. It means the Congress leader felt that it was very important to oppose British policies. It means now they realize that it is very important to oppose the British policies. Okay, that was followed by the British policies. It means we can say also the rules within the councils and also to argue for the reforms, okay, that were formed by the Britishers. Now and also demonstrate that these councils were not truly democratic. They were also uh, now wanted to uh, demonstrate that this type of councils were not truly democratic. Okay, C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru formed the Swaraj Party within the Congress to argue for return to council policies. So for the argue of council policies, the C.R. Das and the Motilal Nehru, they were formed a party whose name is Swaraj Party. Okay, which is formed by the C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru. Okay, for what reason? To argue for a what? Return to a council policies. But what the younger leader like Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose pressed for more radical mass agitation and for full independence. But they were wanting that their younger leader than C.R. Das and the Motilal Nehru. So they were praised for a more radical for a mass agitation. Okay. But the Siyadas and Motilal Nehru only formed a party to argue for a return, argue for a council policies. But the younger leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, they wanted more radical mass agitation, and also they wanted a full independence. Now, in such a situation of internal debate and decision, two factors again shaped Indian politics towards the late 90s. So, in this type of situation, the internal debate take what? Two factors again shaped India in where? In the Indian politics toward the, in which year? In the 1920s. Now the first was the effect of the worldwide economic depression. Agriculture prices began to fall from 1926 and collapse after 1930. It means the first was that was the effect of worldwide economic depression. That in this depression, agricultural prices began to fall from 1926. They were become fall from 1926. Their prices become fall from 1926, but collapsed after 1930. So this, and also as the demand for agriculture goods fell and exports declined, and they also agriculture goods fell and exports are declined. Peasants found it difficult to sell their harvest and pay their revenue. Obviously, if their prices become fall, then how can they survive? Okay, so it is given that peasants found it difficult to sell their harvest and also to pay their revenue. Okay, so by 1930s, the countryside was in turmoil. Okay, so in the year 1930, the whole countryside was in turmoil. Turmoil, we can say it means we can say panic. Okay. So against this background, the new Tory government in Britain constituted a statutory commission under Sir John Simon. Okay, set up in this type of against this background, the name was whose name is Tory government. Okay, he set up he constituted a commission under Sir John Simon. Okay, and also set up in response to the nationalist movement. The commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India and also suggest changes. And it means he wanted to change some constitutional change. Okay, of India. They wanted to there should be some changes in the constitution of India. Constitutional system in India. Okay, and also they suggest changes. Okay. Now the problem was that the commission did not have a single Indian member. They were all British. It means there is a problem that all members are British one. Okay, no, not a single one is an Indian. Okay, so here is written that there were all British, not have a single Indian member. Okay. So when the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, so in which year the Simon Commission arrived in India? It arrived in 1928. Okay, it was greeted with a slogan, "Go back, Simon." All parties, included the Congress and the Muslim League, participated in the demonstrations. It means the Indians they were not wanting that their constitution was changed by the British. Okay, so when the Simon Commission arrived in India, they were started greeting that go back with a slogan that is "Go back, Simon." Okay, and also all the parties of Congress started demonstrate the Simon Commission. Okay, and also the Muslim League were participated in this. Okay. Now, in an effort to win them over, the Sri Lord Irwin announced in October 1929 a vague offer of dominion status for India in an unspecified future, and a round table conference to discuss a future constitution. It means the next one who is came to India, that is whose name is not came to India. He whose name is Lord Irwin, that he announced a offer, okay, of dominion status for India, okay, for India. Now, that is what is the offer that for the it is offer for a round table conference, okay, to discuss a future constitution. For what? To discuss a future constitution. This did not satisfy the Congress leader, but this thinking would not satisfied the Congress leaders, and also the radicals within the Congress led by Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose become more assertive. Okay, it means they were become more assertive. Who are the radicals of the Congress? Okay, like Subhash Chandra Bose and the Jawaharlal Nehru. The liberals and moderates who were proposing a constitutional system within the framework of British dominion, gradually lost their influence. In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore Congress formulated the demand of what? Purna Swaraj, okay, or full independence for India. It means in December 1929, Jawaharlal Nehru formalized a Lahore Congress, okay, in it is due to for the demand of Purna Swaraj. It means they wanted not a half, they were not wanted to any type of barrier, okay, for them. So they were wanted Purna Swaraj from the Britishers, or we can say full independent, okay, for India. It was declined for it was declared that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as an Independence Day, and in that Lahore session, Lahore Congress session that was formulated by the Jawaharlal Nehru. In this, they were said that on 26 January 1930, they declared that on that day they would be celebrated as the Independence Day. Now, when people were to take a place to struggle for a complete independence, but the celebrations attracted very little attention. So Mahatma Gandhi had to find a way to relate this abstract idea of freedom to more concrete issue of everyday life. It means they wanted Mahatma Gandhi wanted to this can also be abstract. He had to find a way to relate to this all type of abstract that was discussed on the Lahore session. We can say the Lahore Congress that was formulated by Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, so in this they wanted to more changes, okay, and also wanted to find a way to relate this abstract idea of freedom to more concrete issues of everyday life. Now the next one is that the SALT March and the civil disobedience movement. So Mahatma Gandhi found in the SALT a powerful symbol that could unite the nation. It means he found a powerful symbol to unite the nation. So on 31 January 1930, he sent a letter to a Vishnu Irwin stating 11 demands. It means on the 31 January 1930, he wrote a letter to Vishnu Irwin, okay, now stating 11 demands. It means in that letter, he was stating about the 11 demands of the Gandhiji. Now, some of these were of general interest, other was a specific demand of different classes. Okay. So some of them, these are the demands that was that Gandhi has written on the wrote on the letter. That some were of the general interest, other were specific demand of different classes, and also for the industrialists to peasants. And the idea was to make the demand of wide raising so that of the all classes within the Indian society could identify with them, and everyone could be brought together in a united campaign. The most standing of all was the demand to abolish the salt tax. Okay, and also the main, we can say the main thing that and the main, we can say, intention to write this letter of to the Lord Irwin is to abolish the salt taxes. It means those taxes which was taken by the government, British government. So they on salt. So they wanted to abolish that taxes. Okay. So the salt was something consumed by a rich and the poor alike, and it was one of the most essential item of food. Obviously, salt is a very essential thing for our food, and it is used by all the poor people also and the rich people also. Now the tax on salt and the government monopoly over its production, Mahatma Gandhi declared, revealed the most oppressive face of British rule. So Mahatma Gandhi letter was in a way an ultimatum. If the demands were not fulfilled by 11 March, the letter stated the Congress would launch a civil disobedience campaign. It means he said that if the letter were if their demands were not accepted, then they would launch a civil disobedience movement. Okay. So in this movement, generally they were not only doing the we can say the marches or something marches like civil disobedience. Okay. In none sorry not civil disobedience, it's non-cooperation movement. Okay. In this movement, they were also breaking the rule of the British, breaking the rules that were made by the Britishers. Okay. Okay. So here is written that if they were not able to accept that what he demanded, so he will launch a civil disobedience movement campaign. Now Irwin was unwilling to negotiate. It means so the Mahatma Gandhi started his famous salt march accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers, and the march was over 24 miles from Gandhi Ashram Sabarmati to the Gandhi coastal of Dandi. Okay. So the march was 240 miles, and from the Gandhi Ashram, that is the Sabarmati, to the Gujarat and the coastal town to the Dandi. Okay. So why he started? Because the Irwin were not accepted the 11 demands, and they were there. He is not wanted to fulfill his demands. So he started this march. Thousands came to hear Mahatma Gandhi wherever he stopped. It means wherever the Mahatma Gandhi take a rest for some time, then thousands of people came there to listen Mahatma Gandhi. And he told them that what he meant by Swaraj and urged to them peacefully defeat and the British. On 6 April he reached Dandi. Okay, on 6 April he started, and after 24 days, walked for 24 days, about 10 miles. It means in a day, in the 24 days, he he walked we walked for 24 days, about 10 miles a day. Okay, so on 6 April, he finally reached to the Dandi and ceremonially violated the law and manufacturing salt by a boiling seawater and break the law. Okay, now the market the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. How was this movement different from the non-cooperation movement? Obviously, because in the non-cooperation movement, they were not breaking the law which is made by the Britishers, but in this movement, they were also breaking the movement. Sorry, they were also breaking the rules. Okay. Now, people were now asked not only to refuse the cooperation with the British as they had done in the 1921 and 1922, but also to break a colonial laws. Okay, they were also breaking the laws. Now the thousands in different parts of the country broke the salt law, manufactured salt and demonstrated in the front of government salt factories. As the movement spread, foreign clothes was boycotted, liquor shops was also picketed. Now the peasants refused to pay revenue and chowkidari taxes, and also they were, we can say, refused to pay the revenue, or we can say the taxes. Now the village officials resigned, and in the many places of forest places violated forest law, going into the reserve forest, and also they were going to collect oats for the food. Okay, and also they were going to graze their cattle. Now, worried by the developments by the Worried by the development, the colonial government began arresting the Congress leader one by one. It means because they were breaking all the laws which were made by the government, so they become worried and they start arresting one by one all the Congress leaders one by one. Okay, so this leads to a violent clashes in many places, and when the Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a devout disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, was arrested in April 1930, angry crowds demonstrated in the street of Peshawar, facing armored cars and police firing. It means when the Abdul Ghaffar Khan, who was a disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, when he was arrested, in April 1930, the angry crowd demonstrated in a street of Peshawar. Okay, so and also facing the armored cars and the police farming. Many were killed. A month later, when Mahatma Gandhi himself was arrested, industrial workers in Solapur attacked by a police post. Municipal buildings, law courts, and railway station, all structures are symbolized for the British rule. Now a frightened government responded with a policy of brutal repression. Now the peaceful satyagrahis were attacked, women and children were also beaten brutally and beaten, and about 1 lakh people also were arrested. In such a situation, Mahatma Gandhi once again decided to call off the movement and enter into a pact with Aaron on a March 1931. Okay, so when the Mahatma Gandhi saw this type of violent in the area, so he wanted to again decided to call off this movement. Okay, and enter to a pact with Irwin in the 5 March 1931. By this Gandhi-Irwin Pact, that in the Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Gandhiji consented to participate in a round table conference. It means Gandhiji consented he consented to again participate in a round table conference. The Congress had boycotted the first round table conference. Yes. Okay. In London. Okay. Where he had to go? He had to go in London. And the government agreed to release the political prisoners. It means the government promised that if he come to join the round table conference, he will release all the leaders. prisoners, okay, political prisoners. Now in December 1931, Gandhiji went to London for a conference, but the negotiations broke down and he returned disappointed back in India. He discovered that government had begun a new cycle of repression. Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru were both in jail, and it means Gandhiji was very happy to go in London for a round table conference, but after going he became disappointed, and uh, in a simple way we can say that there is no type of any type of benefit to go there in the conference. Okay, so he returned disappointed back in India, and he discovered that the British government had begun a new cycle of repression. Okay, so Ghaffar Khan and also the Jawaharlal Nehru, he found that they were both in jail, and also the Congress had been declared illegal, and a series of measures had been imposed to prevent meetings, demonstration, and boycotts. With the great apprehension, Mahatma Gandhi relaunched the civil disobedience movement for over a year. The movement continued, but by 1994 it lost its momentum. So he again started the civil disobedience movement, but the momentum of this movement become lost. Okay. So this was about the Salt March. Okay, I hope you understand all the things. Now in the next video we will discuss about the how participants saw the movement. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.